How's it going, everybody? On the beat. Looks like we're having a delay. There we go. How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTCReaper, and my goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading when the price is going up or down. Welcome, Adam. I hope Anchor's doing well too. We'll look on that when we get after graph. But over on total, we do have some indecision after we tried to break that high value area where our max from the previous bull market was. So we are seeing some struggle getting new highs from here. Our stochastic is pushing up. RSI is pretty flat, but overall, if that stochastic does break, RSI could bend. They have been overbought for a while. They can stay overbought for quite some time, like back here, but just keep an eye on them as momentum is rounding. VWAP is a little more bearish. Money flow is pretty flat. Pretty similar to back here, like this run, so don't get too scared, but again, watch lower time frames. So over on the total, we do have a little bit of consolidation going on here. I'd say maybe an inverted head and shoulder. You could draw this as like a really goofy shoulder, maybe a head and maybe a shoulder. That could give us another retest, but I would watch. We do have 100% chance of pushing up. We pretty much got that chance already filled. Watch for a higher low. There's a 60% chance of higher lows. So if we can continue with higher lows and higher highs, we have a high. We are trying to make a slightly higher high here. So if we can make a slightly higher high and then see a pullback for a higher low, staying above, I'd say this 1.12, then we could start a new bullish trend to see another run forward. That VWAP is in a bullish trend. We do have higher lows and we do have a higher highs. So that VWAP is staying bullish. That is giving us some pretty decent strength. As long as that VWAP stays up, it's likely altcoins would push forward. Momentum is pushing up. Money flow is in the green. So overall, we do look pretty positive so far. We won't cover futures. Remember, they don't trade on the weekends. It shows it's trading, but remember, it just opened like an hour ago. So it's not really worth looking at until we get some more price data. Over on Bitcoin for the daily, though, we still have that indecision kind of influx point of this 97K. There is still a probability pushing up to the 112K. Remember, that's a 90% probability. We are trying to make higher highs with higher lows, so we do have a slight bullish continuation that's trying to form here. I would watch against these highs and lows connecting, though. If we get highs and lows that connect, like in this range, that could bring us down. That would be what would break us down toward that 85K that's mapped out. That would fill our price target buy-in as well. However, if we continue with higher highs and higher lows and lower time frames stay strong, we can invalidate this possibility. It's not set in stone. We only have one touch to the top, one touch to the bottom, so it's nowhere near confirmed, but we are trying to make that second touch to the top. So again, watch. These patterns, just like any pattern, you want confluence, lower time frames, so we do have a bit of a bullish scenario going on. VWAP does want to round away. That momentum is starting to pull back. Money flow is in the green, so we do look positive. Again, watch those lower time frames. So over on the 1 hour, we could, did not mean to move that. So we could have that same goofy head and shoulder where you have that shoulder, a head, and then a shoulder. We could be approaching the neckline right now. And if we can break this zone and continue above this channel, there is a chance to push into 102K. And then that would give us that higher high to continue that higher time frame, the daily possibility of that 112K. However, if we see a rejection here and we see that 98K, that would be a lower low, and then watch for lower highs with that lower low, as that would be what would break us down and push us to that breakdown scenario. Likely, we would see another bounce off the bottom before that happens. That would push us up again. So you may have another swing opportunity coming if we do get that rejection here. So you could make gains either way. Alright, so stochastic does want to push up, momentum is gaining strength, VWAP is pushing up, and the money flow is in the green, so overall we do look pretty positive here. Watch for that VWAP to stay bullish. If it stays bullish, we do have that probability to see that inverted head and shoulders break up. Again, watch for confirmation where we break away from this channel, hold, and then continue forward. You wouldn't get much of a move here as it's a very small pattern. That's why bigger time frame patterns are better to trade on, because they give you bigger moves because they tend to be bigger. So over on graph for the daily, we do have that rejection here, so we did try to have a bullish pattern, and we kind of saw a round away. We will delete this bullish pattern as it did not play, and we got rejected by what would be the neckline of it. Stochastic is pulling back, RSI is pushing down, momentum is rounding, and VWAP has lower lows. So right now, graph doesn't look too positive. If we see another red candle tomorrow, it's likely we may end up filling that buy order, which would be good for us in the short term. Obviously, for your gains, it wouldn't look too good, but you don't want to get too wrapped up in having a little bit of a loss today, because if you can stack up while you have those losses, when you get that really big run up, you're going to thank yourself. VWAP is pushing up, that's why DCA in and DCA out is the best way to go. So that VWAP is running bullish on the 1 hour, momentum is gaining strength, money flow is trying to break forward. So if we see that VWAP stay bullish here, we're likely going to continue higher, and we do have that probability of breaking toward our 35. So if we continue with higher highs and higher lows here, we will see that push forward. I would warn against a retest of the support, as we have seen some consolidation in this range, and if we continue to consolidate here, we could make a bear flag. That would be what would push us down toward that 30-cent area. So now for anchor for you, Adam, hope you're still with us. We did retest that support level of our 51 cents, and we do have a bit of a hammer candle. So this hammer candle could be bullish for us if followed by a strong green candle that could create a rounding bottom to get a higher low and potentially push us for a higher high, possibly testing that 67 cents. Our stochastic does want to push down though, and that could lead RSI and price lower depending on lower time frames. VWAP is breaking down, glad to see you're with us. Money flow is pretty flat, so overall we are doing pretty decent on the daily. We do look a little indecisive though, so I would watch these lower time frames. Over on the 1 hour, we do have some consolidation here as well. It's not really one way or the other. You may be able to draw a symmetrical triangle here, so you could draw from here to here and possibly from here to here, so that may be a bit of a symmetrical triangle. That actually looks more like a descending triangle, as it's doesn't have quite the tilt. So TA is an art form. I'm going to go more on this being the descending triangle right here. The descending triangle possibility, that would break us down to around 43 cents. But if you're trying to say this could be a symmetrical triangle and you want to pull your line up, because remember, we don't quite have a solid line forward, so if we pull that up a little bit, you could get more of a symmetrical triangle that could be a little freak breakdown. And then if we have a symmetrical triangle form here, you do have a bull pendant here, so you would measure from the bottom of the breakdown up to the max breakup and apply that forward to give you a retest around that 65 cents. So that VWAP is bullish. If that VWAP stays bullish, it's likely we can push up. Watch for a break above that resistance area. If we break and get bounce, that's where you can get that break up. And if we get an early break up, that could push us higher. But again, don't go for the max gain or the max pain, because likely you will be left out, just like we got on XRP. But VWAP is pushing up, momentum is gaining strength, RSI and stochastic are pushing forward, and that money flow does want to break green. So if we continue to see higher highs with higher lows in this range, we're likely going to see that bullish scenario. But just keep an eye on that VWAP as it is starting to pull back. So other things do look a little weak, but Anchor on its own does look pretty strong. And remember, sometimes Anchor does run on its own, so you could see Total take a retracement and Anchor could continue to pump. So there's that. Remember, some coins kind of do their own thing once in a while. You see we have a mix of gains and losses on our charts today. No problem, Adam. Let me know if there's anything else you need. So our momentum is trying to push down as our VWAP favors bearish. Money flow is pretty flat. If that VWAP gets a rejection from this neutral, momentum and money flow will drop, and that would be what would pull us back, possibly making a lower high. If we get a red candle here, we could make a rounding top, confirm a lower high, maybe make a symmetrical triangle if we're lucky, because that could be a bull pendant that would give us a really strong breakup. But we're going to have to see how things go, because if we get lower highs and lower lows that do not connect, then that could create a bearish continuation as well. So we do have some scenarios that can form. That's why you're going to want to watch over the next few days. If we're going on the 1 hour, you could possibly draw a triangle based on all of these support levels, but they don't really connect too well. You could consider that trying to freak break down. Maybe you draw it to back here, and then you could draw a trend line from up here, try to connect there. You really wouldn't have much resistance up here. Yeah, it really would be kind of hard to draw any kind of symmetrical triangle, so I'm not going to go on that symmetrical triangle bullish breakout. I would warn against the bearish breakdown. We do have mapped. It does say we could retrace to about 235. If we see that retracement, that could be lower highs with lower lows, which would break us lower if we're not careful. Momentum is bullish, VWAP is bullish, but that VWAP does have a weaker wave, so watch that VWAP close. If it continues to weaken here, momentum will start to push down and money flow could reverse, but as long as that VWAP stays bullish, money flow is green, momentum is pushing up, and we do have higher highs with higher lows, and they do not connect very well right now. So we do have a bullish continuation. That's why we have that 55% probability of pushing to that 276. So I would watch. As long as that VWAP can stay bullish and doesn't break through that neutral, we're likely going to push forward. But if that VWAP breaks down, remember, price usually follows. So if no one has special requests, we will stop after algo today. So over on algo, we do have some kind of consolidation here. That could be a bull flag forming, so we do kind of have things possibly spooling up for our altcoins and Bitcoin. It looks like that bullish flag I've measured from here because we had consolidation, then a run up. I would not count this run up because that was a separate part of this flag that gave us where we are today. So that is a pretty strong breakup still. That would be a breakup to around that 70-72 cent area. Momentum is pulling back though, so keep an eye on it as that VWAP favors bearish. If that VWAP continues to favor bearish, momentum will continue to weaken. Our money flow could round away and we could end up pulling back. Remember, our indicators will weaken though as we remain in our patterns and as we get closer to the breakouts, so that can be harder to read. That's why you trade on breakouts and you don't just jump in just because you have a pattern. So over on the 1 hour, stochastic is running up, RSI is pushing forward, that VWAP is in bullish territory, momentum is pushing forward, and the money flow is in the green. We have higher highs with higher lows, maybe making a symmetrical triangle here as well, so I would watch that symmetrical triangle. Maybe if you capture that wick, draw right there, then if we can get another trend line, doesn't want to give us one, there we go, then you would draw right about there, so there's your triangle. So this would be a bull pendant as well. So the bull pendant scenario would push us to about 58, 57. And since it's a symmetrical triangle, you take half of the move down, and that would be your breakdown scenario, and that would be a breakdown of 47.56. So that's why you trade on the confirmation, especially on an iffy pattern like this, because they're 50-50 patterns. So it's a pattern that literally could go up or could go down. It's not like most patterns, like a rising channel, where it's most likely going to break down, or a bullish continuation where it's most likely going to break up, or a double bottom where it's most likely going to break up. Momentum does want to push forward, VWAP is pushing up, and the money flow does want to break green. So as long as that holds, we could see that bullish scenario. Again, watch for the breakthrough resistance, a bounce, and a continuation. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a great night. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and join us in the Discord.